MIDIGrade is built around having 16 knobs, but many of the controllers in the market only come with 8. To solve this problem, and to fully utilize all the functions even with this seemingly limiting factor, use a feature called 8-knob layout. In the user manual, find the chapter MIDI to Action Index, and then click 8-knob layout. Here it says, MIDI channels 6 and 7 control the 8-knob layout. The 16 adjustments have been fitted onto 8 knobs by dividing them into 2 layers. To toggle between layers A and B, you'll need to use channel 1 CC121. And then in green, we have lots of CC numbers down here. To break it down into basics, you select channel 6 for relative mode or channel 7 for absolute, depending on your controller. These are the MIDI CCs that our 8 knobs need to output for this to work, and if your encoders can be pressed, apply these CCs to the press action. I'll come back to this later. To apply the CCs, use the software that came with your controller. This one is a Native Instruments Complete Control A25. The 8 knobs are visually represented here. Control change stands for CC, so this is correct. Select channel, I'll go with 6. CC number, the first knob being 51. And here's relative mode. I've chosen relative offset, which performs the best in my experience. Then we rinse and repeat until you've mapped all the 8 knobs from CC51 to 58. Remember to close the program at the end of this to release the MIDI controller for other software to use. Now we need the layer toggle. A25 doesn't have programmable buttons, so I'll use a separate controller for that. Let's map these 3 buttons into channel 1. Channel 1 is for functions that are triggered with button presses. So toggle layers is CC121. Let's program the button next to it as the wheels and bars menu, which is CC1. And the other menu I'll add is primary adjustments, which is CC0. Apply the changes, and we're done. To make 2 controllers work at once, we'll select the second one from MIDI settings, like this. Here's what this all looks like in the MIDI monitor. This tool shows you the raw MIDI inputs that MIDIGrade is receiving from your controller, so this makes it easy to cross-check that everything is mapped correctly. Usually, if something is not working, it's due to these MIDI messages being incorrect. Now, to understand the 8-knob layout better, let's go to this graphic. Here again are the 8 knobs, which are divided into layers A and B, which are contained by a menu. So let's say we want to adjust gain. The first step is to select the wheels and bars menu. Toggle layer B and turn the first knob. That's the logic you'll always want to follow. Menu, layer, adjustment. And that's us adjusting gain luminance. To do lift, we toggle layer A, and this same knob has now become lift luminance. By the way, a couple more things I'd like to mention. Let's do saturation, but this time I'll show you can toggle the layer using your keyboard. When Enable Keyboard is toggled on in MIDIGrade settings, you can press Alt-Shift or Option-Shift on Mac to switch between layers A and B. Now in layer B, I'm adjusting saturation. As I mentioned, this controller doesn't have any programmable buttons, but plenty of MIDI piano keys, so you can use those too. It's the note 42. That's this one over here. I press that, and now the first knob has become temperature. Very easy. Press again, and it goes back to saturation. Secondly, if your controller has built-in pages like this one does, you can use these CCs instead. Use layer A knobs for one page and layer B knobs for the other page, and now this replaces your layer toggle. I also recommend using these 16 cc's if you have a controller with 2 rows of 8 knobs, like the Arturia Beatstep. And finally, use these cc's with knobs that can be pressed. Now it makes the adjustment at a faster rate when you press, hold, and turn a knob, and press and release to reset adjustment. That's the 8-knob layout in a nutshell. It's a way to fully harness MIDIGrade's sophisticated menu logic and all its features, even with controllers that may seem not optimal at the first glance. I hope you found this helpful. Thanks for watching.